Hello and welcome, everyone. I am so excited for this evening's session. We are going to be doing a special live somatic movement experience with our guest, Aimee Takaya. And she's a certified Hanna Somatic educator. She's going to guide us through a session this evening that is all about reconnecting with our body, releasing long held tension through gentle, conscious movement. And I'll just pass it on to you, Aimee. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, so this movement that we're going to try out tonight is very different even than other types of somatic movement out there. So for those of you who are watching the live stream who are going to follow along tonight, I thought I would just speak a little bit about uh what somatics is, what is somatic, right? How do we define that? And then also a bit about this movement practice and my own experience with it. So it'll just be a couple of minutes of sort of explaining a couple things so that you're oriented to this particular type of movement practice. So,
That sounds great.
um, yeah, first of all, somatic is a word that comes from the Greek word soma. And your soma, if you just Google it and you Google what is somatic, it's going to tell you it's like a body based practice, right? But how I was trained is that it's so much more than just your body. It's your body that contains your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, as well as your sensory like experience, the sensations that you have in your body, as well as your spirit and your essence. All of that is contained in your physical body. And so somatics in a nutshell is any practice that gets you in touch with your ongoing internal experience in your body as a source of wisdom and power, right? So if you're looking around at different somatic practices out there, there's a lot of them, like we could say even like aromatherapy is a somatic practice. Tapping, EFT is a somatic practice, right? Yoga and Pilates can potentially be a somatic practice if done somatically, done with reverence and awareness of your inner ongoing experience, right? Less somatic approaches might be like no pain, no gain, and just like push on through and ignore those thoughts or feelings, right? That's not so somatic. Not that that's wrong. There's a time and place where we might need to ignore our inner experience, right? But somatics in general is a reconnection of places that we may have forgotten or turned away from due to some kind of injury or trauma.
Mm, I love that. Thank you so much for giving us a better understanding of what that word means because it's so popular right now. There's so much in the way of somatics that's out there, and I think for a lot of folks it can be confusing of like what is this and what are we even doing with this practice? So thank you for clarifying and bringing awareness to all that.
Yeah, yeah. In many ways, I'm really excited to share this modality because this is actually kind of, if we're talking about the last 60 years since the term somatic was kind of coined, and then people started approaching it not only from like a philosophical and psychological standpoint, but also from a body work based standpoint. This is one of the kind of like original practices that, you know, that is out there. It's created by a man named Thomas Hanna. That's why it's called Hanna Somatics. And he was a groundbreaking philosophy professor and academic in the 1960s. And he trained with Moshe Feldenkrais. So some people may have heard of Feldenkrais awareness through movement. So this is like the grandchild of that Hanna Somatics, because Thomas Hanna developed Feldenkrais and then developed Hanna Somatics from his work that he was doing with clients. So, what we're going to do tonight is kind of like a body work that you do with yourself. These movements are going to provide relief from neuromuscular tension and pain, right? And complement anything else that you do with your body, whether it's Pilates, yoga, energy work, right? When you have a body that's more cooperative, any of those things are going to become easier, right?
Right. Yes, that's interesting. I know Feldenkrais is maybe more people have heard of Feldenkrais than Hanna Somatics. So, but you're saying that he was a teacher of Feldenkrais. Is that how it
He was
works?
a practitioner. He was actually the guy who brought Moshe Feldenkrais over from Israel in the
Okay.
1960s and said, you need to start doing trainings of this. So he was one of Moshe's like first students.
Right. Okay.
And then the reason you've not heard of Hanna Somatics is because he developed this as a Feldenkrais practitioner, added another layer to his understanding of what people needed and what he could help people change. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
explain what that is in a moment, the distinction between this and Feldenkrais. But the reason you've not heard of Hanna Somatics is because Thomas Hanna died in 1990 during his very first training. So he was
Wow.
training practitioners when he died in a car accident during the training. And he only
Oh my
trained
gosh.
40 people. So only 40 people got trained by Thomas Hanna, and then he passed. And then his widow, Eleanor Criswell Hanna, carried on the trainings, but she intentionally kept it small for various reasons. She was my direct mentor. So I was trained by and certified by Eleanor Criswell Hanna before she passed, obviously, because she passed last year in her
Mm-hmm.
80s. So, this is really one of the like original kinds of practices. Like I said, it's like the grandchild, or you could say like the grandchild or the descendant of Feldenkrais. And one distinction here, which we're going to play with in this session today, is that a lot of movements, right, that we do are a doing. We're doing something, we're asking our brain to contract muscles, to contract them, to engage, to activate, to align using a muscular force of some kind, right? Even a stretch, even like stretching things out, could be considered kind of forceful. Like anybody who's held pigeon pose for a while knows that it's not like, a necessarily relaxing thing. It's like you're dealing with a certain level of tension when we stretch, right? Stretching is a tension sensation, right?
Mm.
What we're going to do is almost like the inverse of stretching. We're going to focus on the releasing part of the movement. So any movement that we do, there's a contraction. And then in this practice, you're going to focus on the releasing of the contraction. And then you're going to focus on the end of the contraction when you're no longer doing that movement anymore. So essentially, the movements that we're doing are not a doing, they are an undoing.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. So we're not contracting muscles to contract them. We are contracting them to release them, to release the tension that they may be carrying already. Just by sitting here, you may have muscles in your back or your neck or your shoulders that are being maintained in contraction. And we can get your brain to turn off those habituated or unconscious contractions through this method that we're going to try.
Mm. Well, I am excited to try this out. I think the best way to understand this method is to experience it in our bodies, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I just wanted to welcome some of the folks that are tuning in and say hello to Suzanne, who I see here in the chat. Welcome. And I also put a prompt in there if you want to engage with us there, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment as well. But is there a part of your body right now that wants a little bit more listening, that wants some attention right now? You can comment there below. And I don't think I even introduced myself yet. So I'm Jenna, and if we haven't met yet, I support people in finding holistic pain relief methods through, like what we're doing today, therapeutic movement, nervous system, and mindset work. So I just want to make sure everyone is able to prepare their space. I believe, Aimee, we just need a yoga mat. Is there anything else that folks should grab?
Ideally a pillow or two, especially if you know that you have like a tight hips or a tight back. We're going to try some movements laying on your side. And so you may want something between your knees and something underneath your head.
Okay, so maybe a few pillows and a
Yes,
yoga mat.
sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's wonderful. So I'm just going to change the view of the camera here. Okay, let me know how you want me.
Yeah. So first, I would love to have you stand first, and anybody who's on the call could stand to start so that you get a feel for yourself in this position to gravity. And I'm going to ask a few questions, right? And there's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions. And I'm going to get Jenna's answers, but you can just answer these in your own head. And something that's very interesting is that you may find that some of your patterns are similar to Jenna's or something completely different, right? That shows up for you because we're all uniquely wired. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the questions, Jenna. You answer for yourself, and everyone at home, you can answer for yourself in your head. Okay. So feel your feet on the floor and notice, is your body weight heavier to one side? Do you feel like you're heavier on one foot, or are you equal? Are you heavier to one side, Jenna? Or are you equal?
I am heavier, yes, on my left side.
Okay. And is your body weight forward towards your toes or back on your heels?
Forward towards my toes.
Okay. Is your body weight towards your big toes or the outside edge of your foot?
On my left foot, it's a little bit more on the outside edge, and on my right foot, a little bit more on the inside edge.
Ah, okay. That might go with that feeling like you're a little heavier to the left.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then notice how your legs feel. Does it feel like both of your legs are very straight or are they a little bit bent?
Feels like they're mostly straight.
Okay. And then notice how your hips feel and your lower back, and just notice any sensations in your back, right? Does it feel like your back is arched or kind of flattened out or somewhere in between?
Feels like it's arched.
Okay. And then notice how your shoulders feel. Does it feel like your shoulders are right on top of your hips or are they a little bit forward from your hips?
Feels like they're a little bit forward from my hips.
Okay. And then feel where your head is. Is your head right on top of your shoulders or a little bit forward from your shoulders?
A little bit forward from my shoulders.
Okay. And then do you have any sensations that you would call pain or discomfort right now?
Some discomfort a little bit in my hip, my SI joint.
Okay. More to one
And
side?
yes, more on the right side.
More on the right side. Yes. And what else were you going to say?
Um, that's about it right now.
Okay. It looks like you're swaying just very slightly. Do you feel like you're being pulled any direction?
I feel like I'm being pulled forward more.
You're being pulled forward a little bit. And where is the
Mhm.
center of that pull? Are you being pulled forward from your chest, from your belly, from your hips?
I would say the belly.
Uh huh. Yes. Okay. And then those of you who are doing your own body scan at home, you can also do this as well. You're just going to walk around a little bit. You're going to take like a couple of paces around your space and just notice how you feel walking. Okay. So take a few steps. And as you're walking, just notice how your joints are moving. Is it more comfortable to stand still or more comfortable to walk?
More comfortable to walk.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So then now we're going to transition to the floor and we're going to return to standing afterwards to just see how everything is organized after these movements. So those of you at home, I don't know, Jenna, do you want to check and see if people posted any specific areas that they wanted to give more attention to?
I don't see anyone mentioning any specific areas yet.
Okay. We'll just go for the usual spaces. Yeah. So you're going to lay down on your back with your knees bent or straight, whichever you prefer. You can choose to have a pillow behind your head or no pillow behind your head. It's completely up to you. Good.
Okay.
And as you come to lay down, notice how your hips are making contact with the floor. Notice how your shoulders are making contact. Does one of your hips feel like it's heavier or flatter to the floor than the other?
Yes, my right hip.
Okay. And what about your shoulders? Is one shoulder flatter or heavier?
My right shoulder feels flatter, my left feels more lifted.
Okay. Yeah. And then notice the arch of your back. Is there still a strong arch when you come to lay down, or does your back feel like it's flattened out?
feels flattened out.
Okay. We're going to try a couple of movements here to check in with what's easier for you at this moment. And those of you who are exploring this at home, right, you can follow along. I'm going to describe what we're going to do, and then we're going to do it. So just listen for this part. You're going to be pressing your butt down into the floor and arching your back away from the floor. It doesn't have to be a big movement. And then you're going to super, super slow motion come out of the arch, and you're going to feel for where is the end of this movement where you're no longer actively holding an arch. And when you find that space where you're no longer holding an arch, you're going to relax into that undoing of that movement. And if you do any movements, right, and this goes for the entire mini lesson today, if you do any movements and there's an increase in discomfort or any pain, you're going to try the movement again smaller and less intensely. Okay. And you can actually just let me know, Jenna, if something feels funky. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're ready, go ahead and try this. You're going to push your butt down into the floor and tilt your pelvis forward to arch your lower back a little bit. Can you feel your muscles working?
Mm-hmm.
Very slowly come out of that. Slowly, slowly release the arch of your back, taking your time, coming all the way out, and relax at the end of that movement. Good. Did that feel okay?
Yep.
Try that again. Pressing your hips down, tilt your pelvis forward, and arch your lower back a little bit. Yeah, notice your head subtly shifting. And then very slowly, as you release the arch of your back, there's a subtle shift of your head. There's a gentle lengthening of your spine as you come out of that arch. And you're going to find once again, where is the end of that movement? See if your body can settle and rest. Good. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, press your hips down and gently arch your lower back away from the floor. Good. Very slowly come out of the arch, taking your time, releasing your back nice and gradual. And again, feel for the end of that movement and rest. Now, noticing how your lower back feels, noticing any new sensations or awareness that you have in your lower back. And we're going to go for the other direction now. Okay, so I'll describe that first. You're going to flatten your back by engaging your belly, and we're going to do this on an exhale. Yes, so I'll guide you in that. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, draw your belly in to flatten your back towards the floor. You may feel your rib cage draw down, your pelvis tuck under. Inhaling, slowly release that. Gradually release your belly. See if you can do it slow. And you're going to feel for where is the end of that movement, that you're no longer holding your belly in, and let your body relax. Good. Was that okay?
Yes, feels great.
Good. Okay. So we'll do that again. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, draw your belly in, flattening your back. Feel your rib cage draw down. Feel your pelvis tuck under. And then very slowly letting that go, releasing your belly gradually, using your breath to expand your abdomen, taking your time. Find the end of that movement. Use that final exhalation to just let your body rest and settle towards the floor. Good. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to invite your shoulders to help out slightly, right? So when you're flattening your back by engaging your stomach, I want you to just very slightly push your shoulders forward a little bit when you do this, and then your shoulders will get to relax down at the end. So take an inhale. And as you exhale, draw your belly in, flatten your back, and push your shoulders forward. Yes. Inhale, slowly release. Gradually release your stomach as you let your shoulders soften slowly to the floor. And again, find the end of that movement and relax as much as you can. And now notice how the middle of your body feels after these movements. Notice the length of your back. Notice any new sensations or awareness through the center of your body. What do you notice right now, Jenna?
Yeah, my back definitely feels softer, more relaxed, less tight. Some of the discomfort I was feeling is still slightly there, but it's really softened a lot.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful. So now you're going to bring your palms to face up. Good. And we're going to do a similar movement, meaning your back is going to flatten, but now we're leading this movement from your arms and shoulders. Okay. So take an inhale. And as you exhale, roll both of your palms down, roll both of your arms in, and curl your shoulders towards your belly button on the exhale. Yes. Feel your back flattening? Slowly come out. Let your shoulders come down. Slowly let your arms roll open until your palms face up and then relax. Good. We'll try that again. Inhale. And as you exhale, roll both your palms down, roll both your arms in, curl your shoulders towards your belly button so they peel forward and your back and it goes flat. Good. And then inhale, slowly come out. Let your shoulders come down gradually. First, your shoulders come down, then your arms roll open till your palms face up, and then see how much you can relax and let that go. And now notice how your shoulders and arms feel after that. What do you notice about your chest?
It definitely just feels more open and soft as well, but it also affected my back, and my back feels more relaxed.
Ah, your back relaxed even a little bit more.
Hmm.
Nice. So now we're going to go the other direction. So I'm going to describe that. Okay. You're going to be drawing your shoulder blades back and in like it's a little bit of a chest lift, right? A little bit of an upper back arch. It's not our intention to stretch your chest. So if you do this and you feel a strong stretching sensation, do it less, do it smaller so you're not pulling on anything on the front. Okay. We're creating ease and cooperation. We're not necessarily looking to stretch anything. Okay. So
Hmm.
you can try this now. As you're ready, you're going to inhale and draw your shoulders back and in towards the floor so that your chest lifts a little bit. You feel your back naturally arch there. Very slowly release that. Let your shoulder blades soften away from each other, coming out of that upper back arch, and feel your back widen to the floor and then relax. Did that feel okay?
Yeah, it felt great.
Good, good. Not too much stretching in your chest there?
Nope.
Great. Yes. If you felt any pulling at home, just do it a little smaller or less intensely, right? So we'll try that again. When you're ready, inhale, draw your shoulder blades back and in so that your chest lifts and your back arches a little bit. Good. Super slow, slow. Come out of that. Letting your shoulders move away from each other, letting your back lengthen, taking your time. Good. Finding length at the end and just let your body rest. And now notice how your shoulder blades feel against the floor. Notice how your upper back feels. What do you notice right now?
I feel like both shoulders are more like equally weighted on the mat, whereas before I'd said my right shoulder was heavier, but now it just feels a bit more even.
Good. Yeah, like they're a little bit more in alignment, maybe.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Good. So now we're going to have you roll over onto your belly and you're going to lie with your hands stacked on top of each other and your forehead resting on your hands. Good. And then your toes can kind of point inward and your heels can relax away from each other. And we're going to start with your head. Okay. So just lift your head a little bit and look forward nice and slow. And as you lift your head, your spine is engaging. You may or may not feel that. Slowly bring your head down. And as you bring your head down to rest on your hands, nice and slow, you're going to feel maybe some muscles in your back and your spine relax a little bit as your head lands. Good. Try that again. Just a little lift of your head. And notice when you lift your head, there's activity down your spine. Slowly bring your head down onto your hands. And if you go nice and slow, you're going to feel that moment that your spine relaxes as your head is supported by your hands. And now we're going to add one of your legs into that. So we're going to start with your right leg. Okay. So you're going to straighten your right leg. And it's a very small lift. You're going to straighten your right leg and lift your right leg as you lift your head. And so now it's the right side of your spine that's engaged. Slowly come down, leg and head together, and let your leg relax as much as possible. Good. Try that again. Straighten your right leg, lift your right leg and your head. It might be a small kind of casual movement here. Slowly bring everything down, leg and head. Good. And as much as you can, let your body rest at the end of that movement. And we'll do it one more time, and let's try it even a little slower on the release. Straighten your right leg, lift your straight right leg, lift your head. And now very slowly come down. So maybe it's just a bit slower than last time, and relax. And now notice how your right leg and your right lower back feel compared to your left. It might be harder to tell in this position, but what do you notice about your legs and your back right now?
My right leg definitely feels more alive, more energy there.
Mm.
Um, and just feels, yeah, juicy. My left side in comparison doesn't feel as awake.
Yeah, yeah, it feels a little like it's sleeping or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now straighten your left leg and lift your left leg as you lift your head, and just notice maybe there's a difference between how it feels on the left side compared to the right, and then slowly come down, leg, head, and arm together. There's no arm lifting, excuse me, just your head. Yes, and relax. And try that again. Straighten your left leg and lift your head as you lift your leg. Slowly come down. Feel the left side of your spine and your hip relax. And do that one more time, but maybe even a little slower on the release. Lift your left leg, lift your head a little bit. Slowly come down. And relax. Does your left side feel a little juicier now?
It does. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Go ahead and roll over onto your back. Take your time to get there. And you can choose to have your legs bent or your legs straight. See which you prefer. All right. And as you come to laying down on your back, notice the way your shoulders connect to the floor. Notice the way your hips feel, and feel down the length of your back. What's different than it, than before when you were laying on your back?
It, I'm kind of getting some little pulsing in the right kind of lower back side of my back. And yeah, I think I just generally feel, but everything feels kind of more alive and more awake.
Yeah, yeah. So now we're going to do a pattern across the front of your body. So you're going to see if you can bring your right hand behind your head.
Okay.
So go ahead and
I
bring
think
your
I'm going to quickly change the view here because I can see on the Facebook that people weren't seeing me each time. So let's see if that works. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So you're going to bring your right hand behind your head. And now, does your elbow come to the floor comfortably? Is there pulling in your shoulder or your neck when your elbow's up like that?
It's comfortable for me.
Okay. So if you're at home and you're trying this and your elbow is either suspended in the air or there's a pulling sensation, you would take one of your pillows and you'd put it underneath your elbow. So your elbow would be propped up and not trying to come all the way down to the floor. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you've got your pillow propping your elbow. That's great. If it's comfortable to be like this, we're going to continue. So we're going to go back to that little arch of your lower back that we did earlier. So when you're ready, you can try that. Arch your lower back a little bit. Yes, very slowly release the arch of your back, taking your time. And again, find the end of that movement. Where is it that you're done with the arch? And from there, you're going to pick up your head and point your right elbow towards your left knee, and your left foot is going to lift. They don't need to touch each other. They're just going to move towards each other. Yeah, so you'll pick up your head and your foot lifts. That's good. Just like that. Very slowly come down. Bring your leg, your head, and your arm down, and then relax. Good. And we'll do that again. Inhale, arch your back a little bit. Slowly release the arch of your back. Take your time. Good. And once you're out of the arch, pick up your head, right elbow towards your left knee, pick up your foot. And then slowly come down. See if you can land your leg and your head just about the same time, and let that go. Good. And now bring your right arm down by your side. Just notice the way your right shoulder feels. Notice the way your left hip feels. And now you're going to bring your left hand behind your head, making sure if you're at home and you have your left hand up, you might need some support under your elbow. Give yourself that support, okay? Inhaling, you'll arch your back a little bit once again. Now slowly, patiently come out of the arch first. Take your time, feel the process of your back lengthening. Find where is the end of that movement and rest. And then picking up your head, bringing your left elbow and your right knee towards each other, just to wherever feels easy. And then very slowly come down. And relax. Good. We're going to do that again, step by step. Start with that little arch of your back, inhaling. Exhale, slowly take your time to come out. Once you're out of the arch, then you'll pick up your head, elbow towards your opposite knee, lifting your right foot, and then slowly come down. And rest. Bring your left arm down by your side. And now notice how your shoulders and hips connect to the floor. What do you notice right now?
I interestingly feel like my left side is higher than my right side, like my hip and my
Ah,
shoulder.
yeah. So it feels like your left side and your right side are higher. Is it higher towards the ceiling or higher towards your neck?
Towards my head.
Ah, interesting. So you can feel things maybe a little more hiked up or something on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we started, your body weight was heavier to your left. So you may just be feeling more into whatever pattern that is. We're going to do a sideline sequence of movements now. And for you today, Jenna, I'm going to have you start laying on your right side.
Okay.
And those of you at home can try this too. You're going to bring that pillow that you have underneath your head. And then if you are at home and you have an additional pillow that could go between your knees and you think that might help your hips feel more comfortable, please put a pillow between your knees if you have one available. Now you're going to bring your left hand to your waist so that your elbow's kind of sticking up in the air, just like that. Perfect. Keeping your knees together, lift your left foot away from your right foot with your knees together, just like that. And you feel your hip rising up into your hand. Slowly bring your foot down. Slow, 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 all the way. And when your foot lands, you're going to feel maybe some muscles at your waist get to relax. Did you feel that?
I think I need to do it again.
Yeah, try it again. So with your hand on your waist, lift your foot. Do you feel your waist kind of hardening under your hand?
Mm-hmm.
And now slowly bring your foot down. And there's a softening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now you're going to bring your left hand either over the top of your head like this, like so your hand is touching the top of your head. Is that comfortable for your shoulder?
Yes.
Okay. If you're at home and you do this and it's not comfortable for your shoulder, the modification is to bring your hand across the front of your chest. And if you feel like your arm starts to be strenuous to do this, Jenna, you can bring your hand across the front of your chest at any time, okay?
Okay.
So now we're going to add your upper body to the movement we just did. So you're going to keep your knees together, lift your left foot away from your right foot as you lift your head and draw your shoulder down towards your hip. Yes, and now lift your head and bring your shoulder down. Perfect, just like that. Slowly bring your foot and your head down together. All the way, and now relax. Good, did that feel okay?
Yeah, it's a little work in the neck, but
Okay, so
not
do
too
it
bad.
less. Make it easier for yourself. Don't lift as high this time, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
anytime it feels like a lot of work or there's a tightness or a tension, we can make it easier for you by just doing less because we're contracting to release rather than contracting to contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this time, knees together, lift your foot, lift your head, maybe a quarter of what you did last time. Yeah, that's enough. Slowly come down and relax. Did that feel easier?
Yeah, that felt better that time.
Yes. And you could even tone it down even more just to see what that's like, just to see that you can. It's kind of like we're learning to use the dimmer on our movements. A lot of times we're like on off. What's it like to have that more, clear motor control of just this amount of effort,
Mm-hmm.
So try this again, knees together, lift your foot as you lift your head, maybe smaller this time, just to see what that's like. Tiny lift of your head. Yeah, very good. Slowly come down from that small place and feel that moment that you don't have to do that anymore. You can relax. And now bring your hand down to the outside of your leg and hip. Your left hand should go on your thigh now. And we're going to do the opposite movement with your legs. Your feet stay together and you lift your knee a little bit. So try that. Feet together, lift your knee. And that's it. And then slowly bring your leg down. And let your leg get super heavy. Let it totally land and relax on your other leg. Good. And now even that could be made a little bit easier. You could lift your leg just a centimeter or two and see what that's like. So feet together, lift your knee more micro now this time. Yeah, even with the tiniest movement, there's activity, and then slowly let it go. Yeah. Good. Feel that one more time. A little lift of your knee, there's activity, and then very slowly coming out, you're deactivating. And then you feel that moment your leg comes to rest. Excellent. Now, from here, you're going to slowly roll onto your back. You can have your knees bent. You can move the pillow if you like, just to lay more flat. And you're going to bring your arms by your side and sense all down your left side, the way your left shoulder connects to the floor, the length of your left waist, the way your left hip touches down. Is there a difference between your left and your right side? When we started, it was like your left side was higher up. What's it like now?
It still feels a bit higher, but just in general, things feel more balanced. And even energetically, there's definitely more balance between the right and the left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you notice about your right side when you compare your right side to your left side?
Um, yeah, left side still feels like higher off the mat towards the ceiling, but not as much as before.
Gotcha. Yes. Go ahead and roll over and lay on your left side with a pillow under your head. Good. And for those of you at home, just a reminder that you can put something between your knees if that's going to help you feel more relaxed. Scoot your feet just a little forward. Perfect. So now we practiced all the pieces on the other side. We're going to go for the full body movement here. So you can bring your left hand to the top of your head or across the front of your chest, whichever you think is going to feel better. Good. Keeping your knees together, lift your foot as you lift your head and draw your shoulder down towards your hip. Yes. And then slowly come down. And rest. Good. We're going to do that again. And that first one is always kind of like, let's see how that goes. And then the second time you can respond to how that went for you and adjust it to make it easier, more effortless, more comfortable, right? So knees together, lift your foot, lift your head, maybe differently, maybe softer or not as intensely this time if it feels like it would be easier that way. Yeah. And then carefully, slowly bring your foot, bring your head and everything down. Good. Do that one more time. Knees together, lift your foot, lift your head, draw your shoulder towards your hip. Slowly come down and rest. And now bring your right hand to the outside of your leg and hip. And we're going to do this one we call the clamshell. So now your feet stay together and you lift your knee a little bit. Notice where you feel the activity. And then slowly bring your leg down and you're going to get a quieting of some of that activity. As your leg lands, there's some muscles that relax. Good. Do that 1 to 2 more times. Feet together, lift your knee. Slowly come down. And relax. And do that one more time. And slowly come down. Wonderful. Go ahead and turn onto your back again. All right, and now feeling all down your right side, your right shoulder, all through your right waist and your right hip. What do you notice now?
Well, I actually noticed my jaw being more relaxed, and my pelvis wants to kind of do some unwinding movements. It sort of feels like it wants to wag to the right.
Ah, interesting. Well, let's do a full body integration of that. So bring your arms out to a T or an A line, whatever you have space for. Okay. And you said your tail wanted to wag to the right. Is that true? So tilt both of your knees to the right so that your right hip is kind of hiking up as your knees go to the right.
That
Yes,
way?
just a
Okay.
little bit, not quite that far. Feet can stay on the floor, just there. Yes. And now slowly go to the other side. Slowly tilt your knees the other way. Good. And then slowly go side to side, nice and slow, passing through center. And then as your knees go right, your right hip kind of hikes up, your left hip comes down away from your hip or your waist, and that's slowly back to center. And now you're going to turn your head away from where your knees are pointing. Roll your head right as your knees go left. Now slowly bring your head and knees back to center. And then go to the other side, turning way away from where your knees are pointing. Good. Do this 1 or 2 more times. And we're going to add something to it after you do this 1 or 2 more times. Good. So now you're going to turn your hands and you're going to look towards your open hand palm. So as your knees go to the right, your head goes to the left, turn your right palm down and your left palm up. Yes. And now slowly turn your head to the other side and switch your hands as you switch your legs. So you're turning now to the right and your right palm will be up and your left palm will be down. Yes. And then continue slowly turning your head towards your open hand palm as your knees tilt away from your face. Yes. Keep going. Back through center. Knees and head together and back in the center, they align. And then you go to the other side and you look towards your open hand palm. The palm away from you is down. Does this feel good?
Yes, feels great.
Good. Yes. Do it 1 or 2 more times. Turning towards your open hand palm and your knees point away from your face. So the other way with your knees. There we go. Yes. And then back through center. Turning your head now to the right, your left palm turns down, knees to the left. Slowly back through center. Once more on the other side. Good. And then coming back through center. And you're going to rest. And now, how does that space in your waist feel?
Feels very spacious.
Nice. Yeah. So when you laid down, right, you felt like there was some weight distribution that was different from right to left side. What do you notice now about the way your shoulders and hips rest to the floor?
I bend my knees again like I had them before. Yeah, like I'm coming more and more into alignment and balance.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and roll onto your side and just rest on your side for a moment. And then you're going to push yourself up and you're going to sit upright in maybe a cross-legged position or however you like to sit. And if you're at home, you're going to follow along. You're going to come to sitting upright. And you're just going to sit for a moment and you're going to feel the way your hips rest to the floor and notice the length of your spine. What do you notice in sitting here?
It feels like there's a lot of space in my back and through my spine, my ribs. Feels like there's a
Yeah,
lot of light there, a
a lot of
lightness.
light. Yeah, lightness. That's wonderful. That's a word I hear a lot with this practice. It's lighter, like you just took off a heavy backpack or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, took off
Yeah,
some layers of
exactly.
tension. So now when you're
Hmm.
ready, you're going to stand up. Good. And feel your feet on the floor. And when you started, right, you kind of felt like you were being pulled forward. You felt like you were heavier to your left side. Your head was kind of forward. What do you notice now?
I still feel like I'm on my left side more, but that's, common for me because I have scoliosis. But I also feel that I am still I'm more balanced and aligned in that, and my weight is more in my heels. So
Mm.
everything feels like it's kind of resting into my back body more.
Yeah, don't you're not as pulled forward.
Hmm.
Nice. Go ahead and walk around, and you guys at home walk around too and notice how your joints move. Notice how your back feels as you move. How does it feel to walk around after that? Is it different than it was before?
Like I'm floating on a cloud.
Yeah, floating. Beautiful. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this was a little mini lesson, right? And what you did was you actually built neural pathways to get your brain to relax areas in your body more deeply, right? Than they previously maybe have relaxed. And when you practice this regularly, it completely changes the way your brain has been organizing your musculature, right? And with what I do, it's also a hands-on body work, right? So this is just like a sliver of what you could experience if we had done like a full hour of the body work together, right? But
Mm.
this is the way that your brain works. This is the way your brain was built to decontract and lengthen muscles internally. It's just nobody ever showed you how to do this, or me, until I discovered.
Yeah. What a beautiful practice. And I'm sure combining that with the body work is just amazing. It's so relaxing. I just feel so much more in my body. So thank you so much. That was beautiful. And you're teaching a retreat soon. Is that correct? In
Yeah.
April? that people can experience this live in person?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've been struggling with tension or pain in your body, or your nervous system has been feeling really like overwhelmed, stressed out, burnt out, out of whack, like you just can't seem to get, the rest that you need, and you know that your body needs help, this retreat is so powerful for giving you a really deep reset for your nervous system, for your muscular structure. What we're doing, my collaborator and I, is we are doing the hands-on aspect of this work right next to something called water release therapy, or Watsu, which is another body work that's very powerful for shifting your musculature and also helping to move emotional energy. This practice can do that too. So in combination, people leave the retreat like really renewed, really refreshed at a very deep level. So I love these two modalities together. You've done water release therapy, right?
I have, yes. I mean, not in the retreat format. This sounds absolutely incredible, like an immersion intensive. I've done it, at Harbin Hot Springs with people just experimenting with it, but never in the way that you're describing it. So that sounds amazing. What a
Yeah.
gift. I'm going to pop in the chat right here a link to your Facebook page, or I think this is your Facebook group, maybe, where you post these retreats on here.
Oh
So
yes, the
folks
flow
can
your soma. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So folks can check that out. I will also put in the comments how folks can get in touch with you if they would like to learn more about what you offer and dive a little bit deeper into this work with you.
Yeah, thank you. And this work is progressive. So it's like, again, it's a practice. It's like muscular hygiene that we didn't know that we needed. Like when we don't brush our teeth, there's a buildup, right? And
Mhm.
then our teeth fall apart. It's the same way with our muscles. Most of us, including myself for a long time, are experiencing buildup of muscular tension. And when we start to release those layers, then it's like there's just maintenance, right? And what happens is your joints don't wear out so quickly. Things that you thought were like permanent about your structure start to shift. I myself I say had because it's not really a thing anymore. I had hypermobility in my joints and my legs, and I injured myself a lot in my yoga practice. And yes, like learning how to have that proprioceptive awareness helped, but honestly, releasing the muscle pattern that pulled me into those banana legs was the most helpful thing that I ever did, was retraining my brain to not do that so that it's not really an issue, and I don't overextend my
Mm.
joints. So something that I thought was permanent that other people would just tell me, like, oh, you just need to be really on top of your alignment in your yoga practice. It's not even a thing anymore, so that's the power of our bodies to change and shift and heal.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that was such a beautiful practice. My Pilates training was developed by a physical therapist and a Feldenkrais teacher, so it
Oh,
has a lot
nice.
of elements of that somatic work in it, and that's kind of the training that I did. But I've done some Feldenkrais, and this is a little different. I could see the similarities there. And I could just see how this would complement anything that you're doing, whether you're working out at the gym or you're an athlete, you're a surfer, whatever you do. I could see how this modality would just be so supportive for helping you not only gain that body awareness, but relax some of those underlying patterns of tension that are holding us back from being able to maybe go the next level with a sport, or just being able to be pain free throughout the day, or even sleep well at night. So thank you so much for introducing us to this work.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's my mission here.
Well, I wanted to also thank Suzanne, who mentioned in the chat that she feels so much more balanced and relaxed, and that it helped her with a lot of her tightness in her hips. So very good. Thank you,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne. And anybody who is, the retreat's coming up, and we have just like 2 spots left, right? So anybody who experiences this through this show and is like, okay, I need this, right? Or I'm ready for a big change, a big shift in how things have been going for me in my nervous system, we're offering a $200 discount to anybody who comes through your network, Jenna.
That's great. Well, that's
Yeah.
very generous of you. Thank you so much. And I have been to Marietta Hot Springs a number of times myself. I would highly suggest checking it out, and I would highly suggest this retreat as a way to do that and just to treat yourself, because it's so worth it to give ourselves these gifts of relaxation, of movement, to the somatic work, and also being in a supportive community of others who are doing the same thing, and to be able to really dive deeply without the distraction of,
Yes.
our daily life is so powerful. I love retreats for that reason.
Yeah. And I'm really big on you take this with you. So you learn these movements, right? The other part of what I do is not just facilitation, but teaching people, coaching people how to have a daily practice of these movements so that you have a skill for the rest of your life to release the tension that builds up in your body from whatever you enjoy doing, whether that's gardening, hiking, right? That you know how to manage the discomfort that shows up in a somatic way.
Hmm. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Aimee. You're just so experienced at what you do. You have so much to offer. So it's such a gift and blessing to have you here. And for those of you watching, keep listening to your body, keep moving, be gentle with yourself, and we will see you next time on the next live stream.